Welcome to Detangling Perspectives. I'm your host, Kevin Baker. Are you ready to engage in meaningful healing work, both inside and out? This is an invitation to slow down, to breathe, and look inward. We will explore socialization, history, family, culture, and how they have shaped us, and how we can rewrite those stories with empathy, responsibility, and courage. This is not about blame or perfection. It's about becoming more human together. So wherever you are in your journey, I'm glad you're here. Welcome again to Detangling Perspectives. Let's begin.
Drop. Drop.
Greetings, family. Kevin Baker here. Coming to you all uh, in a little bit of a solid mood, trying to figure myself out right as I'm feeling frustrated and intolerant and all of these things. And it's like, when I want to strive for a new humanity and bringing people together, I believe that there are elements necessary for all of that to happen. And sometimes I'm just surprised and taken back and by my experiences and the feelings that I have and the frustrations that I have. I was at a great event today. It really was a nice event where legislators and community members, came together on a Black Legislative Day. And you know, I don't want to take away the positiveness of the group, right? And I was really happy when it opened up with the Black National Anthem, which was cool, which was great. I loved it, and was a bit frustrated by the fact that with the mix of youth and adults, that our children and some of our adults really don't know what it is or what it's about or why they're doing it, right? And so much of it isn't explained, especially to the young, right? I looked around and I saw a few young men, wanting to be honorable, and they had their hands over their heart. And I'm like, no, this isn't that, right? And I told them, I said, at the end, we have to put our fist up in the air, because this is a song about revolution, to me anyway, right? And they did, and that was great. And I was there representing another group, so the Kevin didn't really come out right. I tried to keep myself on tap since I was representing someone else, but I really wanted to stop the program and have them do it again. When we talk about Black excellence, then it should be Black excellence everywhere, right? However, I wasn't representing myself, so I was trying to be aware of how I was showing up in the space, right? And I did have a couple of brothers, to help me out. One was like, you got to meet people where they are. I'm like, right, that's right. The other one was like, man, find some positive aspects and find your tribe to be around people that feel and believe the way that you do, right? And that's I really appreciated both of those pieces of advice. And in working to find my tribe, I feel like it's, it has to be created again, right? So, but and how do we create an environment that will bring people together who are on that same wavelength, right? Of thinking about what, who, where, why is my tribe, right? And how do I reach them and get to them? This message definitely today, as I've said it in the past, some messages are for white people, and this message is definitely for black people, right? I want us to self-reflect, to look at ourselves and how we do. And, a question that I will continue to bring up is around our proximity. I think that was another one of my frustrations today, was I saw us showing up and in a way that for me looks at our proximity to whiteness. Right now, I have been around long enough to know that there's multiple strategies that have to be used, right? We have to exercise an outside strategy. We have to exercise an inside strategy. We have to exercise the both and strategy. So I know all of that, and I know that everyone there, for the most part, really believes in and stands behind the efforts to move black people forward in this society, right? And I applaud their effort. And I think about the invisibility of whiteness and how that is in the world. On my ride to the event today, I was thinking about how so many white people, as they've been taught that their way is the right way, that white people started everything, that brought about everything and were civilized, and their ways were the best ways. As I understand that black people have gotten caught up in that, I also understand white people have gotten caught up in that, right? So many white people, and so many will look and say, well, what is the issues? I just don't understand black people, right? And part of it is that black cultural ways of being is different from white cultural ways of being. And part of the issues that I believe black people have in this world that frustrates me is not seeing these white ways of being and how they have become a part of us. I know, being a psychologist, right, that so many, or in the field of psychology rather, I know that so much of the mental illness that black people deal with is because of our being plunged into, surrounded by, educated in, and by, for the most part, whiteness. And I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about this concept of whiteness, and that whiteness is right and the way. And that's something that we all have to examine and pull apart and look at. White people, black people, Asian people, Latinos, everyone. We have to look at that and begin to dissect it and pull it apart and see how our ways of being is gravitating towards that, right? And it's I know I'm ranting. I've said this stuff before, but today I was just really feeling that frustration and wondering, how can we not only get to our humanity, but how can we begin to explore each in our own cultural identities and what that is, and what is it authentically, and what is it that we should change or not change or let go of or keep, and to get to this authentic self and this way of to come in some way to a world where we can be together and work together, right? Another frustration was it was these two lovely young girls in high school that gave a little speech around Dr. King, right? And they did a great job. They did a great job. And it was the same sanitized I have a dream information that I know came from the current educational system that is just that, well, current and past for the most part has just sanitized our heroes and sheroes to be acceptable for white people in this society who often feels threatened by black people. And that's frustrating too, because so much of me just wants to tell the truth. Why is it that we have a hard time with actual facts and the truth and the way things have happened? And what is, and who are these people out here with these projects to take away history, to dumb down education in schools, and to do these things that just keep us stuck, moving backwards? Why? What are you afraid of? What are we all afraid of? I heard somewhere in some book talking about the truth will set you free, right? Well, do we really want to be free? Do we really want to be free? I think I'm out of words for today. Thank you all for listening, and again, help me find my tribe, right? Help me find my tribe. I'm looking to seek and have this, to work with those who want to create this new humanity, right, that understands each and every one of us and our cultural ways of being, and know that just because our cultural ways of being is different don't mean that we don't belong together. And we have to be able to sit in and settle in those different cultural ways in order to learn how we can support one another and be together. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Drop.